we are continuing our interview series on the margins of the 8th edition of the Black Sea and Balkan Security Forum, one of the leading discussion platforms dedicated to security studies and defense matters in the Black Sea and the Balkans region. My name is Sergiu Mitrescu. I'm the program director of the New Strategy Center, and here with me today we have Mr. Gordon Akrap, president of the Hybrid Warfare Research Institute from Croatia. Mr. Akrap, let's dwell straight into it. The Western Balkans have been, as many people say, a hotbed for potential issues lying ahead, especially in the context of a wider confrontation between Russia and the West. What can you tell us about the Russian hybrid arsenal in the Balkans region?
Well, thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here because I esteem this forum is very, very appreciated and excellent. And the importance of the security stability of the Western Balkan 6 countries is from the crucial importance, not just for us who are neighboring this area, but for the European Union and for the NATO. It's not potential, as you said in your question. Russia is already using many different vectors of attacks from the high spectrum of the hybridity and hybrid attacks in order to gain influence and to rise the differences and divisions within the society. Serbia is an ally of the Russia, it's clear. But Serbia is also at the same time a victim of these Russian aggressive activities because their own radicalized policy. Serbia needs to democratize themselves. Serbia has to, if Serbia wants to join the EU, Serbia has to expand and accept the system of values, beliefs and principles that we are gathered within the EU about the freedom of media, about the freedom of justice and fight against the corruption, and many other questions that Serbia needs to face efficiently in the future. Serbia is, as a society, very important factor of the Russian activities, especially Serbian Orthodox Church, that is more political than religious organization. And we might speak about the second branch of the Russian Orthodox Church, because what we see as the Russian Orthodox Church is doing in preparation of the Russian aggression against Ukraine, and after it, and during it, and probably after it, it's something similar that the Serbian Orthodox Church is doing in the West Balkan 6 in destabilization of the societies and the states. Check, for example, in Montenegro, in Bosnia and Herzegovina, partially in Kosovo and North Macedonia. Luckily, the 3 countries from the West Balkan 6 countries are NATO allies. Albania, Montenegro and North Macedonia. Albania is one of the most stable countries in this way, politically. North Macedonia is shaken a little bit because of the threat of the promises that were not fulfilled. But Montenegro was shown and faced with many different vectors of attack of the Russian hybrid threats. Political, religious, security, informational, energy, investment. All of those 6 vectors of attack were present within the attacks against the Montenegrin society in order to change the religious, ethnic and political landscape of the NATO ally. And that's a very challenging situation. Also, the proxy activities within the Bosnia and Herzegovina that tends to completely depend the Bosnia and Herzegovina on Russian oil, Russian gas, Russian investments, Orthodox Church, is something that is very dangerous for the stability and the future prospects of all Western Balkan 6 countries.
You mentioned North Macedonia, and much of the attention has, of course, been on Serbia as the most pro-Russian country in the Balkans. But with the recent presidential election in North Macedonia, we had a change which might perhaps link to a change in the country's strategic course. Do you believe that the recent presidential election will impact North Macedonia's European aspirations?
Luckily, North Macedonia is in NATO, so some things can be prevented, I hope, in future, that North Macedonia is not going to be more radicalized, and then the influence, malicious influence of Russia and Serbia especially, in North Macedonia is not going to be so strong. We should know the history of the former Yugoslavia still from the First World War, and how the question of Macedonian question was raised within the Yugoslavia and outside of the Yugoslavia. And that's the playing card for Serbs and for Russians, how to play it in congestion and invite the situation in this region concerning the the activities of the Bulgaria and Greece. One of the most important things is in international society is when promises are given, you have to stick to them. So if we promise to Macedonians something, and we did, and we ask in favor that Macedonians are going to do something, and they did, we have to continue with the process. We have to avoid rising another questions, another fulfillments, another demands by some member countries that cause the situation where we are now. This situation could endanger Prespa agreement, because we see that North Macedonia is in a very, let's say, in a very fragile situation. So there are some things, some activities, especially in information influence operations, that can destabilize it very easily. So we have to be careful, and we have to think about how to help the Macedonians to solve their internal problems and challenges, how to find a solution within our other member states within the European Union, and most important within the NATO allies, how to solve their political expectations from North Macedonia, and how to decrease them in order to say, North Macedonia, we promised them. And we have to stick to those promises. I'm coming back to this. And this is, we, Croats and Croatia, we're faced with many different challenges during our Euro-Atlantic accession process, within the NATO and within the EU. We were faced with some promises that we answered positively, but were never fulfilled, or it were fulfilled too late. So let's stick in international politics. Confidence and trust is one of the basic points. If you lose the trust, we have a problem.
Indeed. Thank you so much for those really nuanced and insightful points. And before we conclude, I wanted to hear your thoughts on our event and what are your impressions on the Black Sea and Balkan Security Forum.
It's an excellent, it's timely, and it's fruitful because you gathered many excellent speakers. And what is the most important thing? This is a forum for not just for politicians, this is for experts. This is, as it was said for some other situation, this is a forum where experts can meet the other experts, exchange information, exchange knowledge. Without this process, without knowledge exchange, we cannot go further. Without getting to each other, without knowing each other, without spreading the network of friends and allies, we can't do many significant things in the future. And especially here in the Black Sea region, you will be surprised how small number of people, I think, in European Union or within the NATO also, know so much about the Free Seas Initiative, how to connect, for example, Baltic, Adriatic or Mediterranean, Black Sea security and stability. Not so many people think about those kind of things in this way. And therefore, this forum is an excellent place how to share the knowledge and how to spread it to the publicity and to the population, because we are living in a very challenging times. Modern hybrid threats are focusing the society and population to bring up the divisions and to shape the reality on the way how opponents is trying to do it. But informing positively, truly and honestly about really what is going on to the population is crucial for our future decision makers.
Well, thank you so much for this discussion and the very kind words, Mr. Krap.
Thank you very much for the invitation.